The morning session of the fourth test on the first day is quite similar to the third test as well. Several questions triggered again of India's batting orders. Lunch is taken on day one at the Oval. 54 for three. India's top three dismissed. No batter yet getting to the 20s. And Virat Kohli's given us something to discuss as well with a surprise change in the batting order. We'll discuss all that and more on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Ian Bell and VVS Laxman. Let's go to Laxman first up. Again, the top order falling. VVS, what were your reactions when you saw where they went?
Yeah, I thought it was some good bowling from the English pacers. While I thought both Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul looked good in the opening spell, but once Wokes came in, you can see why they straight away have taken him to or drafted him into the playing 11 because he's got amazing experience and more importantly, I think his wrist position is so good. He gets the ball to move late outside the off stump and also gets that extra bounce. And because of the bounce, I think Rohit Sharma was beaten and it got out. And then I felt KL Rahul was beautifully set up by the English bowlers because of what happened at Headingley in the first innings. It was almost clear that he was looking to leave a lot of deliveries outside the off stump. And just from that line, the way Robinson gets the ball to dart into the right-hander is just unbelievable. He did that in Headingley when Pujara was batting and especially when you bowl wide the crease. And then Pujara once again, actually what you see whenever Jimmy Anderson is at his best, forcing the batsman to play the delivery because of the angle he creates where the ball is coming into the right hander and just at the last moment it just holds its line. So overall, great bowling from the English batsmen, but you could also see the tentativeness of the Indian batsmen. You can also see that how low they were as far as the confidence is concerned, and that's the beauty of Test match cricket. It's not only about the talent, it's not only about the skill or technique. It's also what's going on in between your both ears. And I think at the moment, I think the batsmen look very tentative.
Yeah, I mean, that's as good a session as you'd have expected after winning the toss, bowling first, saying you want to try and make the most of conditions. Belly, that's as good a session as England could have hoped for.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you win the toss and bowl, the temptations is to chase it. And I think what England did well, actually, after the first, I suppose, 20 minutes, they just settled in and was patient, trying to bowl maidens. I think when the conditions are in your favour, the overheads, the ball's moving, so I would just try and bowl as many times as possible. And they did that well. It was really Wokes' introduction into the attack that actually made things happen. Actually, for Jimmy, I think he's gone at 3.5 and over, which is very unlike Jimmy Anderson actually today. But Wokes really started that off with his first over, and it was when that lacquer came off the ball a little bit. Actually, it didn't swing as much to start, but then when that lacquer came off the ball, it started to move nicely, and then they did a really good job. And that's the thing, isn't it? Hopefully, from their point of view, they'll look for, again, a quick breakthrough after lunch. From India's point of view, if they keep dragging this partnership longer, again, they'll be getting themselves into a position.
We'll come to each of those wickets, but you make the point of how Wokes' introduction seemed to have made a difference. Credit to Joe Root as well. We don't talk as much about Joe Root, the tactician, but you take off Jimmy Anderson after 4 overs, so the kind of series that he's had, Ian Bell, that was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was brilliant, isn't it? And you can't be afraid of taking your lead bowler, your best bowler off if it's not quite right. And it wasn't quite right for just and yeah, Wokes coming in that first over again. Sometimes with Wokes, having known him a long time, when he hasn't bowled a lot of overs, he can bowl a yard short. What I thought was really impressive today, he hit his lengths really well, really good. Got some nice swing. VVF said his wrist position is as good as any of the England attack as well. And actually, the one thing I think on this, and it was mentioned on commentary as well, it's one of the pitches in England you can leave on bounce. It's a very consistent bounce at the Oval. And that, with the only thing with Sharma there, could you have left on bounce? But I think you've got to give credit to the bowling. I think that was a pretty good dismissal.
Let's carry that conversation on. VVS, Rohit Sharma, if you look back at the replay, what would you be thinking? One of those that he could have avoided or just a great ball?
I think it was a very good delivery. Sometimes you have to give credit to the bowler for the way he gets you out. And I think it was a very good delivery. And I agree with Ian Bell there because oval always tends to have that spongy bounce, especially at the start of the Test match. And there's something I'm sure the Indian batsman would be mindful of. And he was just beaten by bounce, because if you see, it was not too wide outside the off stump where Rohit went to play away from his body. It was just great seam position, extracting that bounce from the wicket from the good length area, and Rohit almost was forced to play at the ball.
KL Rahul looks so good, but Ollie Robinson just seems to have the number of quite a few of the Indian batters, Belly.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually hit a rhythm, hasn't he, now? And he's done this for a long time. I think, for Robinson and Overton, they've been the standout county bowlers the last 2 years. I think they averaged 13 apiece in domestic cricket last year. So in these conditions, they're a real handful. His height has been a real, I suppose, asset to England. And you hope that can, for him in his career, will be able to take that abroad, especially Australia and places like that. But yeah, he seems to make the batsman play a lot of deliveries. His natural ball is to go if he gets hold. So yeah, he's in great rhythm at the moment. He's backed up Jimmy Anderson really well. He looks the real deal actually for England as well, which is very positive. I suppose when you've got Broad and Anderson who have been there for so long, you're thinking who's going to be the next guy to take over. And the way he's bowling at the moment, you think that he's the next, I suppose, the successor of what Broad and Anderson have done for a long time. So yeah, he's asking major questions of the that fourth, fifth stump, top of off area of all the Indian batsmen.
For a man who started the series so well, Lakshman, normally when a batter starts a series well, you think he's going to cash in on a long tour. Seems to be going the other way around for KL Rahul.
Well, I think you should not be overly analyzing the way he got out today, because I can understand that if suppose he plays like the way he got out in Headingley in the first innings, then it's something which you have to really ponder about. But when you get such kind of deliveries at the start of innings, because we have to also understand that England won the toss and they've elected to bowl. That means the conditions are in favor of the fast bowlers, and it's always going to be challenging for the opening batsman or the top order batsman. It's just about seeing through that initial session. The first session becomes very important on the first day, and again you saw the lateral movement from Robinson. But one thing which I'm sure the English bowlers will try to do to KL Rahul and majority of the Indian batsmen going forward is to almost trap them by bowling the ball outside the off stump, and then from the same line, from the same length, darting the ball into the right-hander, almost trapping them in front of the wicket. And that's exactly how KL Rahul got out, I think, in the second innings at Headingley and also today.
So could he have done anything differently in this dismissal? There is a tentativeness that you spoke of. Could he have done anything different?
Yeah, I think just if you see the replay again, and if you see the bat downswing, it was set up for the ball which is leaving him, and that's why the bat came at an angle, and he was late on the ball. So I just feel that something which he has to keep in mind, that it's not only going to be the balls which are going in that channel, but also he has to be mindful of the ball which is going to nip back in, especially when Robinson bowls wide of the crease. Because when he bowls close to the crease, close to the stumps, I think it's very difficult for the ball from that line, from that length to dart back in. But it's only when he bowls wide of the crease, that's when you expect the ball to come back in, and you almost play for the balls which are coming in, and then whichever ball is leaving, you can always let it go. I think it's almost similar to what Jimmy Anderson does, but I'm sure Jimmy Anderson is much more skillful, much more experienced than Robinson. But I think Robinson is trying to do what Jimmy does so beautifully.
Pujara as well, Veli, another one who you could say after we look at replays, God, could he have left that?
Yeah.
I suppose that's the argument, but again, with the way that they've bowled, again they are. I suppose that's it looks, when you look at it on slow mo and you watch the replay, it does. But the way England have bowled, they've nearly dragged the guys into the channel. Really, they are challenging the stumps all the time, a little bit wider on the crease. Setting the ball off stump and shaping away. Again, I think that's pretty good bowling. They've not given India a lot. Second 4 overs was a lot better. And that was a prime example of that, I think. Again, I think it's pretty good bowling. I think from a batting point of view, again, it's a very fine line. It's a really thin edge. When things aren't going your way, you seem to find a little feather on those and it goes to the keeper. When the things are going your way, you miss them. And I think that was good bowling again.
Laxman, your thoughts on that? Two good ones from what you've said for Rohit and Rahul. What about Pujara?
Yeah, I think this is something which you expect from Jimmy Anderson. And if you see, you almost prepare yourself for those kind of deliveries. And again, what Pujara could have done if you watches the replay would be to play the ball and be behind the line of the ball. It's not follow the line of the ball. So I just feel that, when you see the dismissal, when you see the replay, his bat was outside his body line. So I just feel that is something which you don't do, or you can't afford to do when you're playing a quality bowler like Jimmy Anderson. Because how many wickets we have seen Jimmy Anderson take in this fashion? So the closer your bat is to your body, the better it is. And you can get beaten, but you will never ever nick that balls. But you have to be prepared, because Jimmy Anderson is world class bowler. and world class bowlers bowls world class deliveries to get you out. So you have to be prepared for those kind of deliveries.
All right. Now, three wickets fell and Ravindra Jadeja walked out. I'd like for both of you to tell me your reactions at this surprise decision from Virat Kohli. We heard the commentary, the obvious left hand, right hand explanation, but was it the right one? Lakshman?
Well, for me, that's the only reasoning I can give is the left-right combination. Because when three quality seamers are bowling to right-handers, almost exposing both the edges. You just want to break the pattern. And you don't want to expose your batsman, your experienced batsman Ajinkya Rahane, especially when he's low in confidence in this kind of situation and conditions. So I think just to break the pattern is something which I'm sure Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri might have done, and it's not something which was taken just on the spot. I'm sure this was something which was decided leading into this test match. Is if India loses early kicks, then probably Jadeja will come, and I think their confidence in Jadeja, the batsman, is a lot more than probably what it used to be 6 to 8 months before. So I just feel that it's a good call, but can Jadeja replicate the performances which he has done in domestic cricket because he's got three triple hundreds in these conditions against this kind of quality bowling lineup? So that's a big question, and that's a big task, for Ravindra Jadeja. Yes, he's more than capable batsman, but coming at number five when the chips are down in the first session, when three wickets have already been lost, it's a big ask.
Belly, both of you have scored so many runs in that number five position. You must have seen these sorts of situations, three wickets on an overcast morning, and then you're told, no, you're out of form. Hold on, we're sending the number six ahead of you. Because could that do some damage as well?
I'd imagine they haven't said you're out of form. We're going to move someone ahead of you. But to be honest, I don't. Well, that it could be interesting management. I think I don't mind it. I was surprised, but I didn't mind it. Again, right left hand isn't a bad thing in these conditions. As a batsman, as a bowler, sorry, Anderson will love to bowl a set of six time after time after time again at right-handers. So I actually think tactically that's not a bad decision when the ball's moving round like it is. Throw a different question to England, see if they can get a partnership going. Again, it's still for me, it's only going to get better today now to bat on. That would be the hardest session to bat. They've got through it. They're three down. Obviously, the next 2 hours are going to be huge. If India can build a partnership now, the platform is set to get a score. And we're not talking about a 500-run score or 400. We're talking 300. If India get 300 or 280, they're in the game. So they've just got to find a way now with this partnership and what comes behind is to find that score that keeps them in the game.
Lakshman,
I feel actually, Raunak, I actually feel that whenever there is challenge, it also presents an opportunity. So I just feel that it's a great opportunity for Ravindra Jadeja, the batsman, to prove himself. He's done it over the last 2 years. We discussed even during the first two test matches how good his contributions have been to the Indian team with the bat. And how consistently he has performed, even though he didn't get those three-figure marks consistently or regularly. But also the way Virat Kohli is batting, I just feel that you can expect a captain's knock from him because you can see that steely resolve when he's batting. So I just feel that this may be a session or this may be the match when Virat Kohli can turn around things, and also Ravindra Jadeja, the batsman, can prove himself.
Yeah, I'd love to discuss Kohli in detail, whether we've noticed something different in the way he's setting up right now. But before that, just to close the Rahane conversation, if you were Rahane though, Lakshman, and you're a main batsman, main batter of the team, you batted five, you're vice captain, would it in some ways affect your own morale going into this game or confidence that the team's playing me, but they don't have the confidence in me to send me at number five with three wickets down in the first section?
Yeah, but sometimes, Raunak, when you're going through a lean patch, which Rahane is going through, I mean, there's no doubt about it. The reality of the situation is he's not high in confidence, and as a leader, he will understand the reasoning behind this decision. And if Rishabh Pant walks ahead of him, then it's a different matter. But Jadeja has got a better defensive technique than Rishabh Pant at the moment, and a left-right combination. I think Rahane will accept the fact that it is a tactical and a strategical move, from the team management, and I think that's something which Rahane will accept or he has to accept.
All right, fair enough. Now just talk about Virat Kohli. It's about 30 balls, so it's still early in the innings. Is there anything different that you're seeing in Virat Kohli setting up this Test match versus others? Belly, you can take it first.
just a little snapshot on TV, it looked like he was probably going a little bit further across to off stump from where he was in Headingley. And sometimes that's not a bad thing. Again, with the ball, he can get outside the line with his pad. Look, he looked a little bit out of rhythm, actually. The first 10, 20 balls, it didn't quite look like it was there. But as the innings went on, there was a beautiful straight drive, a couple of straight drives where that rhythm started to come. And that will be the dangerous thing for England. That, again, he's fighting hard. His mindset's obviously there. He's an absolute world-class player. But yeah, you could see him fighting himself a little bit. Maybe, like I said, there was a few snapshots from Headingley to this innings where he may be a little bit further across to off stump. Again, trying to get the ball maybe back towards the stumps, obviously, rather than defending to cover, getting the ball coming back straight down the ground. And actually, the one thing I was actually quite pleased from Virat's point of view, again, he actually defended a few balls that went down and went to the boundary at third man, which meant he was playing the ball a bit later, letting it come, which is something that Joe Root's done really well in this series. And in England, you want to play the ball late. When you're defending, soft hands, get the ball down. And he did that a couple of times. I think he got a couple of boundaries to third man, which meant, again, he was letting that ball come a bit later, which is a good thing from him and something he's probably worked on today.
You have spoken of his trigger, which has been perhaps a bit exaggerated, BBS in the first few tests. Anything differently that you noticed of Virat Kohli standing in the crease in this innings? Any tweaks he's made?
No, I think he's still shuffling a lot more than probably what he did in 2018. And my comparison is with that series where he was just, matchless, if I may say. You know, he was just unbelievable with his bat in that series in 2018. But one thing which was very clear is he's not going to cover drive in this innings. You know, because the balls which he hit through the mid-on region down the ground in the previous matches, he would probably play a off drive or through the extra cover region. And I think he's very clear that that is the area which is letting him down, and that's the area which is not going to give away his wicket. So I just feel that you're not going to see too many lavish cover drives from Virat Kohli, at least till he gets his high in, because at the moment he's still rusty. There's no rhythm to his batting. But I mentioned that there is a steely resolve in the way he's batted so far. You know, because sometimes just hanging in there, just consuming the time and spending time at the wicket, and couple of shots and just spending probably one full session, even though you have to fight it out, and suddenly you feel that the rhythm is back, you're able to move your feet a lot better, you're timing the ball a lot better, and suddenly everything opens up. And that's the kind of innings I'm expecting from Virat Kohli today.
All right. We did expect the Oval and Manchester to be better batting surfaces. The Indian batters have seen this, Ian Bell, in the first session. Is it likely to get any easier going forward? Or is this the most challenging that you've seen at the Oval, or is this expected?
No, I think it's expected. I think for conditions here with India, I think they were always going to leave a little bit of live grass on there. Again, looking at the England attack, it suits them. There's no express pace. They're just good, honest, good, accurate swing, seam bowling, swing bowling. So that, but again, that doesn't last forever. Again, one heavy roller on it tonight, all of a sudden it'll be a lot better tomorrow. So I generally expect tomorrow to be the best day to bat. But now they've got through that first session at lunch and it's drying out all the time. That'll only going to get better and better to bat on. So yeah, I mean, for me again, that's a good English Test match pitch. There's a little bit in it to start. So you have to work hard till lunch, and it's only going to get better now for the rest of the day and tomorrow.
Okay, let's see if India can have a better session in the middle one on day one. Thank you very much. VVS Laxman and Ian Bell pick up this conversation at tea on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Any more surprises lined up? We'll find out in the middle session. For now, Kohli and Jadeja to resume after lunch.